This is a View from the Bridge, official podcast of the Belfast Giants for kingdomofthegiants.com. Today is Tuesday, the 7th of January 2025. My name is Patrick Smith. I'm joined by the Giants statistician David and the local hockey legend that is Simon Kitchen. Over the next hour or more, we'll bring you through all the news and views of the Belfast Giants from the last week. We are live on demand on YouTube, X, Facebook, and you can listen to us through all the really good podcast providers, your favorite ones. If you're watching us live on any of the platforms, get involved with the comments in the chat box. We're always watching, and you may see your comment on screen. On this week's show, we look back mostly at the two games that have gone by, but we'll have cast our eye over the games that took place over the Christmas period briefly. And we'll be joined by Mike Lee, defenseman for the Belfast Giants. And with the two games against the Nottingham Panthers coming up this weekend, the ever-elusive Omar Pacha has agreed to come and join us on a View from the Bridge camp. I need to go have a look into the archives to see the last time that Pacha came and joined us on the show. Very excited to see our good friend Pacha on here coming on live later in the programme. Mr. McGimsey, how are you doing? Happy New Year to you.
Very well, thank you. And Happy New Year to you and Simon and everybody that tunes into this.
Had a good break?
I had a lovely break. To be honest, I got home for almost 2 weeks and I got spoiled rotten by like Simon and Taff and stuff. I was laid down at there. I was just down at the arena nearly all day, every day. Spent longer down there than I did at home, and it was so much fun. Simon and Taff ran me about, fed me, watered me. Can't say enough about them.
That's what can you say? Mr. Kitchen, how are you doing? Happy New Year to you.
And yourselves. I mean, this is the thing. When's it acceptable to stop saying Happy New Year?
Oh, listen.
After today.
Well, listen, this is the first. I know we're a week into the year, but it's the first time I've seen you, Jensen. So it's only right. It's the first show of the new year, so why not? But you have a good break, man.
Yeah, mate. I'm just busy, and then we're obviously this weekend's the F2 anniversary games for the 25th year, and it's going to be, looks like Friday's going to sell out, and then next probably by tomorrow, and then Saturday's not far from selling out as well. There's so much happening with regards to over the weekend. There's a lot of different things happening around the arena. We've got the 360 camera that we had at the birthday party. At yes. W5, there's a lot of other different things happening as well, but I'll do that in any other business, so it should be a bit of crack. Yeah,
we'll get stuck into that. Over the last, it's been 3 weeks since we chatted, Gents. We missed two shows that would normally fit in there, but 3 weeks have passed. In those 3 weeks, the Belfast Giants took part in 8 different games. Just quickly through some of the scores. Obviously, we had the game against the Coventry Blaze at home. It was a 4-1 win, then a 6-1 win over the Five Flyers. Subsequently, the game the day after that got postponed due to the bad weather. An unexpected defeat at the hands of the Glasgow Clan over in Braehead before getting retribution back at the SSE 4-1 the following night. 5-2 win over the Dundee Stars and a 4-3 overtime win back in Dundee. And then we come to this weekend's games that are the 5-3 defeat at home against the Sheffield Steelers and the 3-2 defeat after shootout over in Coventry. Let's get stuck into those last two games, gents. The game against the Sheffield Steelers, and let's start with the views of the coaches.
Yeah, that's a good hockey team over there. They won the treble last year for a reason. You got to be next to perfect. You can't gift them a freebie like that. You give them a freebie like that one, they get life, they get momentum. Then we take a dumb penalty, and they get a second one. Now they're really right back in the game. It took us a little bit there to recover from that, and then they get that third one, and I thought that they held on quite well there the last 7 minutes after we got that third goal. After they had taken the 2-goal lead, we fight back and get that third one. And in the last 7 minutes of the game, I thought that they didn't really give us much, and that kind of shows, they know how to shut teams down there, and they're fighting to get back into the race, and now they're back in it. So for us, it's a missed opportunity. There was a lot to like about that game. We certainly deserved a lot better fate tonight. But you need everybody playing. I thought we had some guys not have their best game tonight, and you have to play for a full 60 as well. And you make a mistake, sometimes it ends up in the back of your net, and you let a team back into the game. That's exactly what happened tonight.
Yeah, we needed we needed some results and some consistency in our game, and could have easily folded the tent tonight as well after going down 2-0. But loved our compete, and I felt like even in that first period, I felt like our battle was there. Didn't do a lot clean coming out, retrieval wise, or coming out of our own end. Gave you guys some secondary opportunities, but I felt like everyone was rowing the boat the right direction tonight. Compete level was through the roof. Got some timely scoring. Power play scored a big one there as well, which has been pretty stale lately. So it was good to see them get on the board. And then, we just dug in and Greener made some big saves and, huge 2 points for us.
Goals for the Belfast Giants came from Mike Lee, Grant Mismash, and Josh Roach. Goals for the Sheffield Steelers came from Golod, Watling, Hutla, Golod again, and Usla with the empty netter. It was Tom McCullum who started for the Belfast Giants, but it was Jackson Whistle who finished. And Davy, the words that popped up in those interviews there, especially the one from Adam Keefe, 2 words: missed opportunity.
Yeah, I think we probably, and Simon can correct me if I'm wrong, through the first 25, maybe even 30 minutes of the game, we probably had enough chances to win a couple of games. We created a lot. We obviously scored after 39 seconds in each period. Nice symmetry in that, but we were able to walk in that first one from Mike Lee, just able to walk into the top of the circle and get it away over Greenfield's shoulder. Who by the way had I think Aaron Fox said there, had a really great game in that. Both goaltenders made saves that in the early parts of the game, and Greenfield more so in the latter part of the game that he had no right to make. And I think at 2-0 we were good value for a lead, but we probably should have been further in the lead, if not out of sight at that stage. And Adam said in his interview there, you give these teams an opportunity, a team as good as the Sheffield Steelers, and they are a good team. You give them opportunity after opportunity, then they're gonna get goals. That first goal's disappointing. It's a low reward pass across the ice, picked off, and they get away in the breakaway, and then poor power play to take. I think we're probably looking at both men getting 2 minutes each, and it stays even strength, but unfortunately with just a wee bit of ill discipline, and we take the extra penalty, just unfortunately, and they score, and that give them a bit of momentum. And then obviously the third goal, isn't one to look back on greatly, and fourth one, and after that it's a little bit of an uphill battle because they were able just to clog that neutral zone, control where the game was being played on the ice, and manage the clock down. I don't know, yes, we came back and we threw a bit at them in the last sort of 7-8 minutes of the game, but Greenfield was pretty decent. And I'm not going to say they were good value for a win, because I thought we deserved something out of the game after the start. But again, Simon will reiterate, you got to play for 60 minutes. You can't play for 25 and take 10 off, and play for 10 and take 10 off. It's just thought that on the night, that's just a low risk reward pass there, unfortunately. But that's, there's plenty of hockey left. The only positive you can probably take out of that it's not March, it's December.
I think, Davey says right. I think there was more than enough opportunities in that first period for the Belfast Giants to be out of sight. The last time we played the Sheffield Steelers, we did exactly that. Obviously, the Steelers aren't going to be, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice. Sorry, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I don't think the Sheffield Steelers are going to come in and fall for that again. They're going to be trying to contain us, which to an extent they did. The Giants had the chances in that first period. Greenfield was very good in that first period and throughout the game. So where did we fall short?
I think you just go back to what you started to ask that question. We didn't play 60 minutes. We played arguably probably 30. I thought we were brilliant in the first period. I thought we were banging bodies. I thought we were, you get that 2-goal lead. We probably should have had them dead and buried in the first period. I mean, you don't take your chances. And you talk about Greenfield. Greenfield was the best goal in the league last year. He's had a couple of injuries this year to basically try and get some run of games going. And obviously Steelers weren't playing that well for a while. But, he had a big opportunity to come up with a big game, and he did it. And that's what good goaltenders do. And obviously, you talk about Tom and Jackson obviously finishing the game. Tom will be disappointed with a couple of the goals that ended up basically going past him on Friday night. But when you give a team like Sheffield an opportunity to get back in the game, and and they score 4 unanswered. Obviously, 1 on the power play, but when they score 4 unanswered goals, they had all the momentum getting into the third period. I thought they played very well. In the second, they did exactly what we did in the first. But it's Adam mentioned compete 2 or 3 times in that interview, and then Aaron Fox did exactly the same, and their compete level was probably just a little bit higher than ours was on Friday evening. But look, we coming into that game, we were 9-1 for the previous 10. Now we're 7-3. Obviously losing that game on Friday night and then losing overtime on Sunday, which we'll go on to talk about. But it's not dead and buried. We're still in a very, very good spot. Obviously, the Cardiff Devils won on Sunday, so they picked 2 points up when we only picked the 1 up. So, they've got a 3-point lead over now. We've 2 games in hand, and if we win those 2 games in hand, we'll go top. Is that going to win us the championship? No, it might. We'll look back in this game against Sheffield and go, do you know what? That basically was a big 4-pointer game. Yeah, it was, and unfortunately, we came out on the wrong side of it. But I still believe that we're the best 5-on-5 team in this league. Our discipline on Friday night wasn't great, and obviously, we took that stupid penalty and they got a power play goal off it, and that gave them a bucket load of momentum. But 5-on-5, I'd put us up against any team in this league. We need to stay out of the penalty box and stuff. I think we're the most penalised team in the league this year. I'm not 100% sure, but Davey might have a better idea with regards to penalty minutes. But if we're not number 1, we're probably number 2. And the discipline needs to improve, because if we can stay out of that penalty box, we're going to give anybody a game.
Tom McCullum gets pulled in the third period, Davey, after what was it? I think he was in for 46 minutes in total. Was that more a reflection of the fact that he wasn't having the greatest of games, or do you think that the coach was sending a message to the day?
I thought it had a really, really great game up until the third goal went past him. It made some saves, it said on comedy. There's one save particularly down at the bridge end that he had no business saving, and it also made a brilliant right leg save up at the other end of the ice. It made some, and there's another one. It'd been great. I don't know whether the third one slightly knocked his confidence or whatever, and then he's gone with the first shot there and hasn't bought the fake, and the little drop pass there has just opened the net up. Was it Goulod, you call him? How do you pronounce his name? Sorry. Goulod. And finishes it really well. One-timer from inside the circle with nobody blocking his shots. Always difficult to save. So, I'm slightly out of position because he's gone for the first shot. He's square on the first shooter, little pump fake, and he's done him with the eyes, more or less. And that was enough. Adam brought Jackson in then, I think, last 13, 14 minutes. I think it's 7 or 8 saves to make, and made what he had to do pretty well. But no, Paddy, to answer your question, I don't think it was particularly on the day. I think that was just down to maybe there's a little bit of rattle confidence there from a goaltender who had been exemplary for right through December, and into January, and for the first 40 minutes of that game, just made a couple of mistakes and just took the heat off him.
I think from my point of view, the frustration is the fact that we saw in that first period exactly says how this team can play. We saw exactly the amount of shots we can put on. That and we're seeing there the goal from Roche, which is sublime in the work, how hard he works to get that goal. And you see that even like you look at our second goal that opened up the second period. The amount of work to draw Greenfield so far out of position, the open man, and finding an empty net. We know how to find the net. We know how to. This game could have been out of sight, and I think the frustration that I feel, no doubt you heard from Adam Keefe, there is the fact that if we find the net, this game's done.
Yeah, again, you don't take your opportunities, you get punished, and unfortunately, that's the way it ended up on Friday night against Sheffield. And when you look at I can't remember who we were playing the week before. Dundee. I mean, look at that Dundee game. We absolutely tortured them in the first period, and I think Dave, am I right? Am I saying on the stat count for the AIHL website it was 107 shots?
I'm not sure where. I can't remember exactly which stat sheet that came from, but yes, 107 shots on, not necessarily on goal, but 107 shots. I think it was 60 plus on goal. So it was like everybody was shooting from anywhere. You love to see that too, but Still only 60% on target. if you want to be particularly naughty about it.
Yeah, the bottom line is, don't forget, there's an awful lot of those block shots as well. But
there's block shots on top of that.
Oh, right, okay, very good. Like the bottom line is, we can compete with the Sheffield Steelers. We're 3 points behind Cardiff. They're 3 points behind us on the same amount of games. But there's a bucket load of games. We're only halfway through the season. So we've a long way to go in this season. And I'm still feeling pretty decent about ourselves. I still think we've got a very, very good shout. But it's what's up next, and we're going to go on to talk about it. But the Nottingham Panthers are a good team. They're in some good form, and we've got to face them twice this weekend.
The highlights of this game are available from Belfast Giants TV. Before we move on, just because you say about the block shots, Davy, it reminds me many, many moons ago, I was helping out when I lived up in Newcastle, and I was helping out with the Junior Vipers, and they wanted me to go and just count shots behind the net as the game went on, and that was fine. And at the end of the game, I can't remember which side I was looking at, but which team was it, but the goalie got pulled. And a shot goes towards the net. D-man comes skating in and just on the edge of the crease takes the puck away. Right at the end of the game, I go around, I end up having a conversation with a couple of guys, and one of the guys who was taking the stats, and he says to me, "Did you count that at the end? That shot on goal at the end?" And I said, "That wasn't a shot on goal." He says, "It was a shot on goal." I says, "That's not a shot on goal." He says, "You can't. It was a shot towards the goal that the D-man took away, but that's not a shot on goal. Surely a shot on goal is a shot on goal that is saved by the goalkeeper." Yes? Would you count that as a shot on goal?
If it hits a defenseman and it's a shot on goal, but if he basically takes it away, it's not a shot on goal, it's a block.
A block shot, which is not a shot on goal.
I don't know how that actually works if the goaltender's not between the pipes because the goaltender's not on the ice.
Yeah, but that's the other side of it. But as far as I was concerned,
shouldn't matter. It's not a shot on goal. It's not the Giants doesn't count. Okay.
It was. I can't remember who they were playing. It was the Junior Giants. Anyway, let's move on to the game against the Coventry Blaze that took place over at the Sky Dome. A 3-2 win for the Coventry Blaze after a shootout. Let's hear from the coaches.
I thought it was a really ugly hockey game. Really, we're lucky to get a point. It would have been nice to get it done in a shootout. We didn't. I thought Coventry probably earned the 2 points, and that was not a team I recognized out there. That was really ugly hockey.
We've played each other 4 times so far this season. Each game's had its own different identity, hasn't it? It's been an interesting matchup so far between the two sides.
Well, actually, I thought the last 2 times we were in here, we were great. Tonight, it was just ugly. From the get-go, I thought Coventry came out and just won every foot race. Obviously giving up odd man rushes. I think we gave up 4, including a breakaway, a couple 2-on-1s. Obviously, they go down 2-0. JJ makes a nice play to get us back into it. Bomber makes another nice one off a face-off, ties the game up. We had a little bit more control there in the second period. Third period, we didn't do enough to get a lead or anything. Our power plays was terrible. Just ugly hockey.
I was impressed with our guys' ability to have a good start tonight. Like I think it's every coach says it in these interviews. Like it's hard after those long bus trips to Scotland to bring it, and they mentally just dialed it in. They stuck to our identity, and we were able to get out to a lead, which was good. And we knew Belfast at some point in the game was gonna push back. Obviously, they did pretty quickly in that period, but I think what I really loved is guys just weren't deterred once they tied it. We just kept trying to create scoring chances and play our way, and even though we didn't get rewarded, in the 5-on-5 or 3-on-3, we got rewarded in the shootout, which I'm happy about.
Scores for the Coventry Blaze were Luciani, Constable, and Talberg in the shootout. He got the shootout winner from Talberg. JJ Picanich and Jeff Baum were your 2 goal scorers for the Belfast Giants. Jackson Whistle in goal. I'll start with you on this one. Says, I think you just take it from Adam Keefe there. He was not a happy man at the way the Belfast Giants performed in that game.
Yeah, and not very often you hear him saying that. Is he looking for a reaction from the next game against the Nottingham Panthers? Yeah, I sure hell think so. He's got Adam's an honest guy. He comes out and says exactly what's on his mind. And he was pretty critical there at times in that interview. And when we've gone into Coventry this year, as he said, the previous 2 games we were excellent. You give them a 2-goal lead, and that Coventry team this year is a really decent side. They have some really, really good players. But, you get a couple of goals back. You sort of take over control of the game a bit. But, again, you're shooting the puck, and it's not getting in. And it's, grade A chances in this league are very few and far between. And you need to take those opportunities when they come along. And we didn't. And that seems to be a recurrent theme of over, not every game, but a couple of games at a time. And it's important that you just need to keep working hard, get the opportunities, and it's going to come your way. I mean, Kyle Osterberg, he's had terrible luck this year with regards to being in front of the net, and I thought he worked his tail off again on Sunday night. He was left out on Friday night, and when you're left out of a team and you want to come back in the lineup to make sure you're noticed for the next game, and I thought he did that. But there's other guys that just, again, you had chances, and unfortunately, we just didn't get luck, didn't go our way. The puck's bouncing all over the place, and that's a tough place to go to. So it was disappointing not to. You know what? We got a point out of it. That's a positive to look at it. It's that their goalie played very, very well. He made some big saves, but we people talk about the other good teams around the league, and the Panthers have got a good team. The Devils have got a good team, and I'm sick of saying this. We've got a good team as well. We really do. And I believe in it. And I do believe that we're going to have opportunities going down the line. And I said it before, we're going to pump someone. We are genuinely going to pump someone. We're going to put 7, 8, or 9 goals past someone soon. And it's not going to be a surprise at all.
Davy, Kiefer said it in his interview as well, is the fact the last couple of times we've been in that building, we've outclassed them, and we've outclassed them significantly. There was a point where it was a bit of a dogfight, but we ultimately came out as the better team. We give them a needless head start in this game, a needless head start.
Says or Kitchy or said about teams being good teams, and the Coventry Blaze are a good team. We've went in there and fought for 6 points and came away with 5 this season. They don't give up too many points at home, and we've taken 5 out of 6. So we take the positives out of that. The 2 games that we played previously there, they couldn't skate with us in the second and third period.
Yep.
And I don't know whether, Mike's coming on a bit there. He might be able to talk. It's been 11, 12 games from the 7th of December to the 5th of January. It's a lot. It's fatiguing. There's been a lot of travel, and it hasn't been ideal. I know games have been called off, but even the games that were called off have ended up with 4 o'clock in the morning ferry rides and boys having to spend days in bed. And it's been difficult. Sam will say they work for an hour a day, but it's been difficult enough for the boys. And again, another travel day on Sunday, getting into a rink and having to go from the bay of the bang. And unfortunately, we didn't, and we got ourselves into a 2-goal hole. And we worked our way back into it by the end of the first period. And I honestly thought that we would probably go on, and we created probably the best opportunities, but they layered up well. It didn't give us much in and around Robson, and there was only one real clear-cut opportunity. Rucci went on a breakaway right at the very end, is bobbled off his stick. The ice is terrible. 25 minutes in the third and a half period, if you like, with overtime, and just bobbled off his stick was the one real clear-cut chance, and goes to penalty shots. Anything can happen. I think it's ended up 3-2. But, take the positives. You've taken a point out of there, and you've taken 5 out of 6 against a team that are very competitive at the top end of the table this season.
Yeah, I think that they're a young team. We've said this a few times when we had Kevin Moore on. They're a young team. They're a hungry team. They're a team that are stacked with players who come straight from NCAA. What I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to you mentioned his name there, and he can give us a bit of an insight as he was on the ice during that game. Please welcome back to A View from the Bridge, defenseman for the Belfast Giants, Mike Lee. How are you doing, Mike?
Good. How are you guys?
Doing really well, buddy. Doing really well. You in the background there, just hearing us chat about the game. Give us your take on the game. Your coach from the interview obviously wasn't happy with the way it was. Said it was a dirty hockey game out there. When you look at that game against the Coventry Blaze, what do you take from it?
Yeah, I mean, just kind of starting to talk about Coventry. I'll start with them. Like, they played a really good game, right? They played, I wouldn't say a full 60, but pretty close to it. I mean, they came out, ready to play. We went down two goals in the first 5 minutes of the game. They were ready to play, and we were kind of on our heels, and then kind of fought our way back. And then I think we had a pretty decent second period, and then we were kind of just, not finishing our chances, obviously, but they worked all game. They made it hard for us, going back for pucks. Like those guys, before checking hard, they were getting above pucks a lot, and it was all night. So it was definitely tough on us, and kind of made the game hard for us. So, we obviously didn't play well, but, we did get 1 point out of it, which, I think, if you look at that game as a whole, I think we probably didn't deserve it, but that just kind of goes to, Wisp played amazing for us, especially late in the third period there, made a bunch of big saves to kind of keep us in it. So, we had our chances, but we just didn't have enough of them, and Coventry played, great. So.
That's it, and I mentioned it there, is the fact that they take those 2 early goals, and we're in a fight to get back into it. Davy said we've been in there 3 times, we've come away with 5 points. We've obviously shown that we can compete there, but when you give a team like that sort of head start, it puts you guys behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, you don't want to start the game down 2-0. You kind of start second guessing yourself. Lose a little confidence. But, a quick goal by JJ and then bomber from the point, kind of brought us back to it. But, we definitely had chances to score that game. But, ultimately, we just couldn't get it done. But, just kind of the morale at the beginning of the game. But we kind of fought our way back. But, went to overtime. We had a couple chances in overtime. And then, obviously, the shootout. But, 1 point, we'll take it.
Mike, let's get away from the weekend's game. Let's talk about you. Obviously came in early in the season, take a bit of a knock, and now you're starting to get your legs back under yourself. You feeling good?
Yeah. I was out for 7 weeks. You don't want to get injured, but, sometimes it happens, and, kind of getting back into it. It's tough, especially getting to like game shape, right? You can do all the stuff off the ice, but game shape is a little different. It takes you a couple games, but I feel good now, and, kind of jumped in to like a pretty heavy part of the season, but, we love to play games. So, happy to be back. And, we've had a pretty good run in December, and, kind of take the positives from that.
Yeah, you're happy enough with your own sort of offensive output as well, opening the score on Friday night. Lovely goal. They just let you walk into the top of the circle there and let it rip.
Yeah, we have a great team of very earpod fell out. We have a great team, so it's hard to kind of for other teams to kind of manage like everyone, right? Top to bottom, all our defensemen, all our forwards. So it kind of allows you to be more offensive in a sense, because people aren't like pinpointing you throughout the game. So, and when you pass the puck to some good players, they're going to score. So,
Spike, big fan. You've obviously, Davey just took my question away from me, so I just wanted to follow up on something else about that. See when you've got a full squad and you're in the lineup, and that there's guys, obviously Zach Galambos, and you've got Kyle Osterberg, who are healthy scratches right now. We talked to a lot of people over the years who played in the ECHL, and they've got a lot of players that are maybe out of the lineup and then go back and get called up and what have you. How hard is it to continually to try and put out 60 minutes every single night? Well, obviously, you're talking 26, 27 minutes at the minute that our defensive guys, top defensive guys are playing. But how hard is it to continually do that every single night?
It's definitely challenging. We've all been playing hockey a long time, but obviously, in college, you do it back-to-back nights. My first couple of years in pro, you play a lot of games, you're playing 4 and 5s, and you kind of start learning your own body and kind of what you need to prepare for those, because it is taxing on the body. So kind of just doing the right things, I guess, but also everyone else's other teams are also they're playing a lot of games. We're playing a lot of games. So, you kind of just have, just to edge them just a little bit. And that, that depends on, if someone, needs to do, treatment or, if everyone's a little different. But yeah, it's definitely hard, but you kind of have to find your own, little things to do to get ready for those games, because it is challenging, but, you have to be ready, by puck drop and, really no excuses. So you got to find what works best for you.
You just mentioned when you come on there that at the end of the day, it's more guys just want to play games, having to practice hard. And obviously, I remember you sitting on the bench at Dundonald after a George Owada morning skate. You're literally just about to come back in the lineup again. That's the type of thing you don't want to be facing in mid-December.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You don't want to be doing bag skates with George. So, yeah. I mean, we all love to play games, right? Obviously, back-to-backs, kind of suck, but, we'd rather be doing that than, having to practice and work out. So, games are fun, if you really look at it. So, not too bad.
So how's the preparation go? We got the Nottingham Panthers coming up on Friday, doubleheader at home, which is all too rare. But at this moment in time, we used to have loads of them, but a doubleheader at home against the same team. How's prep going for that, and what do you expect?
Yeah, it's kind of nice to, since, as we talked about, playing a lot of games. So a lot of like play a game, day off, then play another game, day off. So we kind of have this, full week to, get practices in, get workouts in, kind of have like a regular week, and then jump into the Friday, Saturday game. So, that's good for us. And then to Nottingham, obviously they're a good team, but, we believe that we're the best team in the league. So, whoever comes in our building, we're expecting to win and, put on, a good performance. So, we're excited. Obviously we got the full bowl in for both games. So it's going to be a good weekend.
One question before we let you go from June Hamilton, who's watching in, saying, Mike, is the fast turnover of games and the travel more difficult than other teams you've played for?
Well, the past 2 years, like kind of a normal European schedule is you would play like, Friday night and then no game Saturday, then Sunday game. So you're only playing 2 games a week, sometimes 3, but that's only a few times a year. But my first year pro, I played in America, and you play a lot of games, 4 and 5s, which is, four games in 5 days. I played a couple 7 and 10s. So yeah.
7 and 10.
Yeah. One year in January, I played 16 games in 30 days. So it's a lot of games, but definitely a little different than what I've been doing the past 2 years and when I was in Slovakia. But, that's kind of how the league is built, and you kind of have to be ready for every game. So
did you come up against Collins when you were there?
Yep.
Yeah. How did that go?
I shut him down every night.
I'm going to go online. I'm going to investigate how those games went.
Yeah. Okay.
But listen, Mike, we really appreciate you joining us. Good luck this weekend, and no doubt we'll chat to you again as we go down the stretch.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike. Cheers, Minton.
Cheers. Yeah, see ya.
Save the date.
Big thanks to Mike Lee for joining us and spending time with us. What's the big figure for?
Save the date.
Save the date. Looking forward to getting all the details of that on the Adam Keefe testimonial. Right. Time to be joined by one of our good friends. Now, this man has ducked and dived and dodged us for about 2 seasons now. In fact, one point, Davey had to manhandle him at playoffs to get a photograph with him. But we are absolutely delighted to welcome back on the View from the Bridge our friend, the CEO of the Nottingham Panthers. Please welcome Omar Pacha. How are you, Pash?
Good. I did it last year, just so you know, but whatever.
Did you do it last? No,
Yeah,
you did a one-on-one with
year.
you did a one-on-one with Davey, but you didn't come and join us live. Did you? Because I remember you did a one-on-one with Davey, and you complained.
I think I did one with Davey. I did one with Davey for sure.
How you doing, mate?
I'm doing well. Yourselves, guys?
Yeah, doing really well. The Nottingham Panthers are doing really well. Obviously, not so good in that last game against the Cardiff Devils, but the run leading up to that has been pretty strong. This team is starting to hit the straps.
Yeah, no, it's been I think for a few months now we've really picked up form. Danny's done a great job to get the guys to play hard every single night, compete, but we're scoring goals, getting good goaltending, and defensively we're really structured. So it's quite positive right now, and it's going to be an interesting second half of the season.
Obviously, last season was very difficult, and you made the coaching change in the summer, and in that you went to the Coventry Blaze and you brought in Danny Stewart. How difficult a decision that was? I don't think that was a difficult decision.
No, but it's a longer story. Danny was quite sad in Coventry, and we talked a few times. I think for him too, he wanted a different direction as well, coming to a different club, and different challenges, if I may say, right? So it was great to get Danny on board. It was Danny's a coach with great experience. He's really loves the game. He's passionate. He cares about his players. He works extremely hard. And for me, like just looking at him work every single day, it's been great from a personal level to see him have this run of form as well, because he deserves it and the club deserves it, and the players deserve it too, because one thing is for sure, this group really works hard night in and night out. And since we made a few tweaks and Danny's made a few adjustments, and we've been seen to run form, and he's an undercover hilarious human being as well. So never knew that. And you should talk to him about politics next time.
Certainly will.
Pash, happy New Year to you. You're looking awful well, mate.
Doesn't he? Does he look well?
Doesn't he? He looks awful fresh. So this is this part of my question. So obviously you had your time in Hull, you had time in Manchester, you had time in Dundee. You were working at teams that were more towards the bottom end of the table and the difficulties that bring. What's it like now working at like more of a mid-table team?
Well, you just said your bowl is Phil, so you're welcome about that. Big team coming to town. Look, it's I think this is where we should be. I mean, competing right at the top. I mean, it's a tight race with 6 teams right now, 1 through 6, and I'm not being funny. 1 through 9. It's basically it's so close, and I don't know. I've been in this league for a long time, like you said, and I don't think I came across this tight with so many teams, if that makes sense. At this point, and it's quite competitive every single night. You're going into every single game thinking you have a great chance to win, but you also with that humbleness that you need to have every single night, because everybody can beat everybody. You look at Dundee just beating Cardiff, top of the league, and they beat us twice already this year. You look at every single team has had results, like even Fife beating Sheffield at home. So there's results. You guys, like Cov, has been having a great season as well, and everywhere it's quite tight right now, and I truly suspect that's going to be till the end of the season like this, and hopefully we'll be in front of a few teams and the 9 other ones. Fingers crossed.
Patch, I totally agree with you. I think it's probably the tightest league we're going to see in a long, long time. I think there's so much parity right the whole way throughout. Like maybe taking Fife out of the equation, they're having a tough year, But it definitely is and you have been around the league now for probably what 8, 9, 10 years, maybe a bit more. It must be hard to put a roster together that is competing on a regular basis, because you've done a great job this year and getting some good players back into the Nottingham Panthers.
Yeah, no, we're happy with the team right now. I mean, we've made a few tweaks to our lineup, guys. We're able to add 2 good mid-season pickups too. And we had a league start that was probably below our expectations, but the thing is, we had a great cup competition at the start. I think we started 6-1, but we couldn't get our league form up to par. We made a few adjustments, and also we had a lot of new players to the league, and sometimes with a new coach, because everything was kind of brand new. Stewie's new, our assistant coach Linton, who has done a great job as well, coming in. A lot of new players from outside the league, but getting a guy like Sam Hurd certainly helps with the leadership of himself and with the group. Getting back guys like Dietrich Henbrandt, Otto Niemann, and Hugo Roy, and adding Mitch and Z during during the season as well has certainly gave us a boost. And for now, like, it's hard to pinpoint. We've been in every single game. The only thing is hoping these 1-goal games that we lost earlier in the season and last 2 games against Cardiff and Sheffield, how can we turn these around into points? And I'm sure Danny's working hard on that, and Linton as well.
You've been in this position. You just talk about you guys coming into the league, you guys coming into a team in the likes of Nottingham. And when you go to a new team in a new country, you've been in that position as well over the course of your career. How tough is it to actually to hit the ground running? Because again, it's different people adapt to a new way of life in many different ways.
Well, one thing that is, I guess, the biggest fear. But the one thing I will say is Danny did an incredible job at the start to kind of, like, obviously I have the induction days is the first day where you introduce the club and kind of where we want to be, what we want to do off and on the ice. But I think Danny's done a great job by reinforcing the message. When I speak to players, they know the importance of every single game. They know that, let's be honest, right now is playoff hockey. The intensity that was at Sunday's game against Cardiff, it was nothing short than a playoff game. And it's the same with, I'm suspecting, this weekend against you guys, right? So I think guys have, figured out, but you don't know until you have that exact experience, and having a coach with, this is my first time in Nottingham with a coach that has that experience about it. And I think that's why I'm extremely positive with the group we have, of them understanding the principles of every single game is ultimately a game 7.
It was 2013 when Sylvain Cloutier looked at the Chamonix team and saw a young point-a-game defenseman playing and thinking, that's the guy I want in my side. Soon he was promoted up to was a player coach with Carl Lauzon. Did you think back then? Obviously, your life changed when you came to Manchester, and you met some really influential people in your life. But did you think that back then when you made that move from Chamonix over to Hull, that all this time later you'd be where you are right now? Was it always a plan to do this, to move into the business of hockey?
Well, I always was fascinated more on the business side than probably the coaching. The coaching, I really liked it. I really, grew to really enjoy it. I was always helping junior teams back home in the summer. But the business side, I guess, it was probably when I did my master's in Hull and also gaining experience working with Russell,
who?
Twin of Robert Fitzpatrick. Holy, they're both similar, those two. Working with him was an absolute pleasure, and you learn a lot. But no, I always was fascinated about sports, the whole industry, not just ice hockey itself, but football or American football, baseball back home, and other sports. So I was always fascinated about that. And when I got the opportunity to go to Dundee, when you can mix, learning from Neil as well, but when you have to go run it yourself with the ownership there in Dundee, it was a great opportunity, and we were able to, grow a great fan base over there, and they've been nothing but successful off the ice too in the last few years, and on the ice they've always been competitive. So when I got to Nottingham, I tried to bring some of the ethos and philosophies. And luckily right now off the ice, we've been very lucky to have a good season off the ice too. Our crowds have grown, but I think that's due to the team as well. And making a few adjustments off the ice. We were able to hire Adam Goodrich too as our COO, which I think has been a class help. Adding Jordan Kelsall too. That's not only a player but works in the office, during the summer. So making these adjustments and kind of building the team on and off the ice, and that's one of the things having Danny too. It was, we have our daily discussions, but I think there's a lot more how can I say trust in everything he does, and just because of his experience and his knowledge of the game.
What do you think that your experiences? You could talk about the experiences in Altrincham and all the challenges that brought. Or bringing the crowds to the most versatile arena in Hull and then up to Dundee. But what gaining the experience at those teams and the challenges they bring. What from that do you bring into Nottingham, and what are the differences?
I think it's a narrative, how you want to present yourself as a club and how you want to, communicate in different aspects, your vision and how you want to run things with the club. And I think one other thing we've done in the last few years is adding Chris, and who's, our medium. You guys know Chris very well, and Sophie Rouse to do video, and a bit of what we want to do is give as much content and give great content to our fans. And right now this year, one of the things is we have the best home record or one of the best, I think, with you guys, and I think Cardiff too have a really good home record. So winning at home certainly helps, and using those content areas to kind of drive our message forward as well. I think we've changed our season tickets from previous season to this year, which I think was a big thing too. So all these things, and I think you want to bring in and how you want to portray yourself as a club, and obviously your interpersonal relationships you have with different people that, I've learned in Dundee and Manchester and Hull that there's maybe not as many people that there is in Nottingham. So it's important to put in the hours and put in the graph, and people that know me probably know that I'm a bit too addicted to this, and maybe too much. You can ask my wife. So.
It's a fair question though, Pash. When you're in Hull, when you're in Dundee, when you're in Manchester, you've got that sort of Jackie Moon rule where you just have to do absolutely everything. Where you go to a bigger franchise like Nottingham and you're bringing in people to do social media and video and commentators and press guys and COOs, and you're more of the figurehead, and you're just moving the pawns around where you need them. Is that more fun, or do you miss the hands-on? Doing laundry, sharpening skates, whatever you did.
I think it takes a bit of adjustment. My first year, I think my first year knowing what I know now, I think I would probably have done a few things differently. The commentator, like you just said, trying to find somebody as passionate as Sis when he does a commentator of a game it's a big challenge. So getting Jono was great. But no, overall, I mean, yeah, look, it's quite for me because I like to be hands-on and like to know everything. Sometimes you have people you have around the club, and we have great people, and I think we're at the best position, since I've been here. Obviously last year was you had to think on your feet from every single second as a leader, and the emotions sometimes get the best out of people last year, which was extremely difficult, from what we faced. But again, nothing compares to what the family faced back home. So I
just cut across your pass there, because just a few weeks ago, you obviously had, just after the anniversary, you had the retirement, and I know begrudgingly to say anything good about the Panthers, thought it was handled superbly, from your own speech, the family speeches, just everything that went on. So I think real credit to the organisation and how they handled the sort of 1 year anniversary, if you want to call it that.
No, thank you. Everybody did great there, and it's tough. It's not an easy moment. It's something that I wish had never ever we put in that situation. To this day, it's the saddest thing I've ever experienced. But look, let's not get too. It is what it is. It's tough. So.
Pash, this weekend, are you going to try and get the trip over to Belfast so we can take you out for a drink?
I thought about it. I'm still debating it. You know,
Come on.
apparently there's no seats available, so you're welcome. guys.
Sold out Friday night, but I'll let you do comms if you want.
You're welcome. Yeah, I don't want you-
You're
I don't want
welcome.
you to squeeze-
Doesn't
I don't
take,
want you to
let me tell you something. It doesn't take a Nottingham Panthers to fill our arena. Believe you me. We've sold 7 of the last 10 games, complete sellouts,
Yeah.
and we're not far away from it. But,
No, look,
plus,
you
I
guys
mean,
have
you're probably not. In all fairness, you're
you guys
probably
have
not
a house.
allowed to come. You know.
No, me and Robert would probably hang out together. No, look, you guys have you
Go
guys
ahead.
have another great season, great team. I mean, really impressed by, you know, I know we saw you guys twice, but I think the 2 times we saw you guys were quite short. One day was you guys did the Cardiff approach to arrive a few hours late. You know, guys didn't, you know, probably get settled. So tonight, you know, Friday and Saturday will be great challenges. And, you know, I think you guys have a lot of offense this season, you know, the goaltending, a back end that really is able to move the puck quick to the forwards, and, you know, bringing Conway, Pitchinich back, and, you know, Bariga and all these high end guys. It's going to be an exciting weekend, that's for sure. And hopefully the 4 points come with us, but that's me saying that.
Let's hope not, Omar. Listen, we really appreciate you coming on and joining us. We've missed having you on. It's good to see you. One thing before you go, actually, I'll give you a bit of a laugh. My daughter now is turning 8, and she asked me a couple of weeks ago if I would take her ice skating down at Altrincham. I don't know if you remember, but one of the last times I went ice skating in Altrincham, Omar Pacha was pointing at me through the glass, having a right old laugh at me trying to skate around in the Altrincham ice. But so if you want to come down and teach her to skate, mate, you work away.
I don't know.
Was this before you were born, Nutty?
Since my last practice, that I ran in 4 years ago, right before Belfast pumped us 6-0 at the Final Four. I haven't put those skates on, so I don't know. I probably would be laughing at myself right now.
Listen, man,
one thing I do want to put my skates. Stewie does this thing at the end of practice. He does on the Fridays. Like, obviously, I'm sure Kiefer does something like that too. He does shootouts with the boys, so the loser has to bring donuts. So it was good to see Stewie. Stewie came up to me and said, "Pash, don't worry, man. I'd never lose at the shootouts. I never would lose at the shootouts." He lost 3 times in 6 weeks. And then I'm like, what are you going to have to, you're going to ask me for a pay rise now because you keep losing at the donuts, boy. And he wanted Krispy Kremes, and you all know Krispy Kremes once a
shot.
But that's if you want to, you have to go on the crossbar challenge against this man down here. Him and Mark Cooper week on week.
Oh, really?
Crossbar, yeah.
2 seasons in a row. 2
Really,
seasons in a
champ?
row. Beat him from the blue line. I beat him twice. We do 5 pucks at the end of every practice. Now, with fairness, he's sort of every time I get down for practice now, he's first off the ice because he sees me coming. But the last 2 years, you shoot 5 pucks from the blue line, hit the crossbar, and I've beat him 2 years in a row.
And he is one of the nicest human beings in the world, Coop. I spoke to him a few times, so I wouldn't be surprised if he let you win.
No, definitely didn't let me win. Trying to get a 5er off him, believe you me, was not easy.
Fantastic. Well, listen, Pash. Listen, we've got through the whole of the interview, and I haven't even mentioned Chris Higgins breaking your ankles. And I think that's a first for you. I think it's a first for a view from the bridge. Really appreciate you coming on, mate. We'll catch up with you soon.
Thanks, guys. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Thank you, Pash.
Cheers, Pash.
Oh, I was messing about there. I was supposed to change the background. There we go. Great having Pash on. You know what? One of my favorite people in the Elite League. Just a proper lad, good laugh, and begrudgingly, Davy, he's doing a good job.
Well, let's stick to the man rather than the GM. You know, great fella. Love Pash to bits. He's a very, very nice man. And, you know, you're down in Nottingham there, always come for a chat. Ask about the family, ask about his family. You know, he's a good, just a good man.
I remember the first. Go aside, says go.
How funny was that when he compared Neil Russell to Robert Fitzpatrick?
I'm not sure whether either of them will be happy with it.
I don't know who's going to be happiest about that, to be honest with you.
I bet your coach isn't happy with it anyway.
Very nice here.
Big hi to Neil the Coach Russell. Television's Neil the Coach Russell. Well, I always remember one of the first times I met Pash, and Coach put me into the office, and he says, "This is Omar, Pash, and we chatting away." And it took Pash about 3-4 minutes, and then he went, "I've been in Hull for 2 seasons. I've been coach of all last season. You've not invited me onto your podcast once. Not once. Do you not know that we exist in Hull?" I was like, "You can come on anytime you want." And now we have to try to chase him down to come on this show. He was telling me then, now we have to chase him down to come on this show. But listen, big shot now. Remember where he came from. But we know, glad to have him on. Gents, we're going to wrap up the show here, but with a quick reflection. Not enjoying yourself, Davey? The quick reflection on a couple of things. Obviously, the Christmas period went away, has been and gone. A lot of games. Would you look back at that Christmas period, says ultimately successful for the Belfast Giants?
I think it probably could have been better, to be honest. I mean, I'm being greedy there with regards to, you know, you want to pick 2 points up against the Clan on Boxing Day. It's been something we're used to over the years. When you see people gurning about that, and obviously, you know, we didn't get to play the 5 Flyers at that time with the 22nd. Obviously, the travel back was disrupted, so you know it would have been nice to try and get those under the belts. Those games, you know, that's now been pushed back to the 26th of March, and you know you're playing more games at the end of the year, but just make it tougher as well. So I really would like to try and get that out of the way. But look, beggars can't be choosers. We're in a really good spot. Obviously, we're in the semi-finals of the Challenge Cup. We're sitting second in the league with a couple of games in hand against the Cardiff Devils. If you'd have given me that when we were playing with 13 guys against the Nottingham Panthers at the start of October, that'd probably bitten your arm off. But you know, we're healthy. Touch wood, and we're making inroads to where we need to be to, and we're going to be thereabouts for sure.
Yeah, we've spoken, Davey, already about those last 2 games and disappointments that they were. We took 1 point from the 2 games, and you know we did drop points against the Clan, but the rest, I'm happy enough. When you get so many games crammed into such a short space of time, then you know if you come away with majority wins, it must be deemed successful.
Yeah, I think we'll look back. Hopefully, we'll look back on a successful season at the end of it. And December is always a very pivotal month. You want to start looking at you know, we talk about this in the podcast year after year. You start looking at the league table once you're into the new year, and you want to be within striking distance. And we are. You know, we went through a lot of adversity early in the season with injuries and that kind of thing. And, you know, key players, Bobo Carpenter, Mike Lee, that we talked about, you know, missed long stretches of the season. And we're now getting to a point where, you know, we're pretty good for injuries. And, you know, we've got that opportunity. Sometimes guys are having to sit games out here, and the access with Tom being an import and Jackson being, you know, British gives us that option sometimes to play that extra import whenever Jackson starts for us. So as what's happened on Sunday night, and you know, unfortunately some guys get to sit out, and it's how they react. You know, it's not always going to be the same guy, and it's how they react to that as well, which is good. Well, can be a good thing. I think they started on the 7th of December away to Cardiff. We won that game. Simon said, you know, around the Friendship 4 kind of weekend, any team, hopefully it's us, but if a team can get on a run of 10 games or so, they're going to put themselves in a really good position. And we weren't in a great position, you know, end of September, mid-October, and we've gone on that run over December. And what did you say, Simon? 10 and 3 in our last 13, something like that. It's been strong. It's been good, strong goaltending. Points on the back end, strong defensively. Probably we went through games, we've peaked and troughed in terms of output up front, where we've destroyed teams, 5, 6, 7 goals in games, and then we've struggled to find the net in other games. So that'll be a conundrum we'll want to solve. But like, round that out. You want to be within striking distance on the 1st of January, and it's either whatever 5th, 6th, 7th. Don't know what date it is, but we're within a couple of points or 3 points at the top. So, we've got to go to Cardiff again in a fortnight. We've double header at home, big games, every game now. If you think we talk to guys and say, about the importance of those early season Challenge Cup games, because you want to have the opportunity to potentially play, semi-finals and finals in these tournaments, and how important they are. And 2 nights, 2 points in October are as important as 2 points in March. Now the 2 points get big every night here on in. Sort of at the 50% point of the season, it starts to, this is the run in, a long run in, but it starts now.
It was mentioned there in the conversation with Omar, Pacha, with regards to the stretch across the leagues and how tight it is. The top six teams are only 9 points stretched against, and then you drop down. But right at the bottom of the 5 Flyers, 6 points total from 26 games. And while we've been off the air, Tom Cohen has parted ways from the 5 Flyers. Johnny Curran is a bit of an interim coach with Todd Doody agreeing to lead training sessions. It's so difficult there. But one of the other things that happened with regards to the 5 Flyers is the game against us. They were to lose Ryan Foss, but another case of the Standards Committee stepping in. We heard the Standards Committee stepping in, and we spoke about this last time with regards to them being allowed extra imports. But the Standards Committee stepped in again and allowed them to defer a suspension on Ryan Foss in the game against us on that Saturday night. Now, it was deemed to be that they didn't have enough players on the bench. They did that very same day announce a number of two-ways. 4 two-way players, was it, Davy, that they announced on that same day? And so, but the league still allowed the fact that as he was an import to play the game. That seemed to me at the time to be a bit ridiculous, because would that be something that was dished out to any other team if they were to deem themselves to be, in inverted commas, playing short? A lot of teams have been playing short this season. What were your thoughts when they deferred that suspension?
I think it's that at the time, I'd still rather have 10 teams in the league than 9. I don't know what the situation was with regards to the committee agreeing. I don't know what the terms and what have you. I mean, I look back at the Ryan Foss, isn't it you call the guy who's suspended? Yes. He's played every game since then. He hasn't missed a game. So I don't know if he actually misses I think Adam said to me last week, we've still got to play the Flyers 5 times in the league between now and the end of the season.
It has to miss one of those, I suppose.
I don't know if that's the situation. I really don't know what you'd have to ask Steve, or I really don't know, Paddy. I don't care enough about it, if you know what I mean, without sounding pompous. It's just, I believe that we're in a good spot and we can beat them, whether they've got Ryan Foss in or not. I mean, he's a big unit and ticks off minutes for sure, but he's not I don't want to say anything in case he scores a game winner against us and then I come back and I have to eat humble pie. But I don't really care enough about it.
But what if he had?
I did say that in our last show.
I think he got an assist on the opening goal. Yeah.
Yes, he did. So you're in this weird situation, Davey. Like the league are making a rod for their own back. Yes, the Standards Committee have to go on.
Kevin Madden has given some very salient advice. Great choice from the committee. We're not going to risk any fines on a view from the bridge. Great choice. No, but say it with tongue in cheek. We discussed this on the last podcast, and I said I was on the fence when we were talking about the additional imports that they were going to be allowed to bring in. Because, like Simon, 10 teams, is better than 9, because 9 teams means every weekend someone's having a weekend off or a night off on the weekend, because an odd number of teams, and you want to have the 10 teams, you want to have the even number of teams just for logistics. This crossed a little bit of a shady line, because either it's about player safety or it's not. Retrospective punishment anyway, suspending people isn't about player safety, because it's an arbitrary suspension or fine. I'd like to see different things done. I think there's different things that could be done about player safety, education more than anything. But this crossed into a little bit of a grey area. I would imagine, says, just like you say there, to play them 5 times. I would imagine if the standards committee would have came to, and I don't know, this is only purely speculation, would have came to us and said, like, this is the situation, we want to be able to put out a team, to sport integrity, if you like, we need to be able to put out a strong team in the face of this, and the next game you play against us, Ryan Foss will not be able to play. And that may well have been the Sunday, but obviously the game was called off, and that'll maybe be now deferred until the next time we'll play them, which is only maybe about 3 weeks away. I think we'll play doubleheader home this weekend, then we'll have Guildford, Coventry, Cardiff, and then we're away in Scotland, Dundee, Fife. So it'll maybe happen then in Fife as it was supposed to. So, you know, if that's the case, I'm okay with that, because I'm a strong believer in that. If you take a suspension against a team, you should be suspended against that team. But it's one of those. The decision was made by the committee, and you just have to just roll with it. We talk about sport integrity. Five for in one, like 6 points on the season. It's not looking good for them. They're not getting bounce back results here either. It's not like they're getting close to wins or anything here. So fear for them as well.
Their last 2 wins, Sheffield at home, and they beat the Cardiff Devils at home. That's their last 2 wins in 16 games. And if they don't finish out the league, the points then basically negate against the losses in Sheffield and Cardiff.
I think the fixtures are just wiped from the record. Yeah.
That's a tough ask as well.
I don't know about the whole thing, just because you look at likes of Coventry, who activated Zach Vanel off the bench. You know what I mean? He's an assistant coach. They're short. They need a player. Play 2 games against us. You know, because they're short. If they had a suspension, would they have been able to go and say, "Listen, we're short. You know, can we have our player deferred until we get a body back?" You know, where does the league make a rod for its own back that there are going to be teams who are 3, 4, 5, they take 3 imports worth of injury, and they're coming to the team and saying, "No, we need that player, or we can't play." It just didn't sit right at the time, and I don't know. You know, you could say that it's. People say, "No, it's what's the word? Exclusive situation." It's an unusual situation. It's only an unusual situation if it happens once. If it has to happen again, then it becomes a precedent.
It's a very, very fair question, because I've seen somebody put a video on Twitter there of Peter Russell interviews over the last couple of weeks about
times he's playing short.
They're down to 5D, 9 forwards, injury, suspensions, etc. And a lot of coaches
from that this year as well.
But what I'm saying, but
away to Nottingham earlier in the season, there, the game that Pacha was talking about, we were bare bones.
But if we had a suspension,
5 and 8 even that night. But the point is, going forward from here, it does open a door for Todd to push it open, or Steve or whatever, to say, "Lads, we've 13 imports tonight. Yeah, I had 5 to play."
Yeah, we've 13.
And then where does it come? If a player, I think he was suspended for spearing, if I'm right. I can't honestly remember now. It might have been spearing. But where do you draw the line there? If, let's say a Belfast Giants player has been ejected for check to the head, whatever, a bad hit, or a Sheffield player, a Cardiff player, where do you draw the line at saying it's about player safety? And the suspension is to make the player think twice about doing the same thing again. But you go, actually, you can play in this league because it's not really fair for you to play short. It's a difficult situation, I think, to put themselves in there.
Yeah,
certainly opened a lot of speculation up for fans to talk about it on Twitter.
And again, yes, they've put forward the standards committee, and they put forward the information to say why it's happened. They haven't really said the reasoning behind it, other than they're short, which doesn't sit well. If you're short, you're short. We've played short, like you said. We went in. Like you said, we went into places and played short. But had we had a suspension on top of that, would we have? What if we'd gone to the league and say, "Listen, we're already down to 9 forwards and a few D. We want that player back because it just doesn't sit
well."
What? Anyway.
I have something in my head that we did have that situation. I think Laker might have been suspended, and we ended up having to get the 13 people, 13 guys.
Yeah, but look, remember when?
But in fairness, at that stage, we didn't we didn't have everybody else was injured, so we couldn't bring anybody else in. But it's still, I think. Yeah,
our former Newcastle Viper fans are shouting about the team that came into Belfast. What was there's like 6 of them, and I think it's less every time they tell the story. But that's what happens. Unfortunately, that's what happens. But I think the league have made a rod for their own back, and it'd be interesting to see if any other organisation, be it ours or anybody else, take advantage of that, because you may say it's an unusual situation, or it could be a precedent. Anyway. 2 games for the Belfast Giants this coming weekend. We spoke about them already. Friday at 7 p.m. and Saturday at 7 p.m. Both against the Nottingham Panthers, who are on a bit of a run. Yes, they lost the last game in a bit of a goal at the death against the Cardiff Devils, but they have in a bit of a run. It's going to be 2 big games. Simon, it's also a bit of a weekend where we're doing a bit of a celebration.
Yeah, I mean, 25th year has just started, and obviously these 2 games against the Nottingham Panthers, a lot of different things happening. I'm only going to say a couple. We've got the selfie pod there. We've got the 360 camera. There's going to be face painters about, and there's a lot of other things happening around the concourse and on the bridge. And again, I don't want to give too much away. To just, if you can get there, get there. As I said, I know there's not many tickets left for the Friday night. There's going to be a lot of ex-players there that we've invited down. I'm not sure if we're going to get them involved to do anything. It's one of those ones where it's they're probably going to want to spend time with their ex-teammates and have a drink and stuff like that, instead of get us putting them to work when they get there. But we'll wait and see what else comes off it. But there's a lot of things happening around the concourse and on the bridge itself for Friday and Saturday night, and then obviously. There's a few very, very special things happening, but you ain't getting that out of me tonight.
Looking forward to that. Those 2 games, 7 p.m. on Friday at the SSE Arena. No tickets left, Sis?
There's a few tickets left for Friday. Saturday, there's a few more, but I would be surprised if because we put the East End in now, that we've managed to get the East End in, so they'll be available both games this weekend, a full bowl. That gives another few people that opportunity to get tickets who were maybe looking at them before. But yeah, I think we're probably going to sell out, if not both, definitely one, and then very close on the other.
Yeah, that's good. I know there's probably a sizable contingent coming over from Nottingham because of it's the double header they do enjoy when they come over to Belfast. That's all teams. I saw a tweet the other day saying it's difficult being a Belfast Giants fan because you don't get the feeling of the excitement coming in when you get to play the Belfast Giants as another team. It's just our team. But yeah, if you can't get down to the SSE Arena, you can get those games, of course, on Belfast Giants TV. Davy, you were back behind the mic. You joined Stephen and stuff I heard you in the Sheffield game. You enjoy it?
Got myself in trouble, but sure.
You're just having trouble?
I made a joke, and some Sheffield fans took it very personally.
Didn't sound like a joke, Davy.
Well, all right, joke with a jag, whatever, Sam.
Is this what you said? Is you say I can see them, but I can't hear them?
No, actually the headphones are very noise cancelling, and you couldn't hear the Sheffield fans, but you can't particularly. What? I couldn't hear the Sheffield fans through my headphones, and I made a wee joke, and somebody took it a wee bit thick, but sure.
Yeah, that's Twitter for you.
Picking on me, they're leaving somebody else alone, as my granny would say.
When it comes to it, people lack a sense of humor. You know what I mean? When it comes to that sort of thing, people you can't. I've said a few things on various commentaries where people just took it thick, and still hold a grudge.
Simon had me in for 3 games there, and did 2 with Simon, 1 with Stephen, and unfortunately, just 2 wins. 2 and 1.
That's it. Any other business chance before we start wrap things up? No? All good? Well, that's an easy one, gents. The first one of the new year. Like I said, 2 games against the Nottingham Panthers, Friday and Saturday at 7 p.m. at the SSE Arena. Very few tickets left for those, and if you can't do it, can't get onto it, Belfast Giants TV. Join the boys on that. Big thanks to Mike Lee and to Omar Pacha for coming on and joining us. Big thanks to you, gentlemen, for coming. It's good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Happy New Year to everybody who's joined us, and thank you for getting involved. at AVFTB on Twitter. You can get us on Facebook, on kingdomofthegiants.com, all your good podcast providers, YouTube. You can get us on all the other sort of stuff. And that's it. Enjoy your trip to London tomorrow, Simon. I hope you come back with a defeat.
I hope I don't miss. You see the result tonight?
No, what did you in the
Newcastle beat Arsenal 2-0.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Spurs are up against it tomorrow, mate, and there were so many injuries again, but is what it is. Still goes. My brother's 60th there last week, and
a phenomenal stadium to visit, mate. That's all.
He's never been. That's
best, probably the best stadium in the country.
We're doing the Skywalk at 2:15 tomorrow.
Ooh, right around
genuinely breaking it 100%.
That'd be brilliant. That's high. That is high. The first NFL game I saw there, they had somebody up there singing the anthems, and I thought, no, you forget about that.
Yeah. So we're doing that at 2:15, and then we splashed out a bit. We're doing hospitality tomorrow evening for the game. So you arrive 3 hours before the game. You get your dinner, you get drinks, and then the match, and then obviously you have an hour and a half after the game as well. So. But getting over.
Nice and windy in London too.
Honest to God, I am breaking it, and I'm telling you now, if it is windy, it's 40 quid to draw or donate to charity. I'm not gonna. My brother will definitely go up, and I'm telling you now, if it's windy and it's horrible, I am not going.
Safe as houses. Safe.
Be fine, mate. You'll be fine. They would let you up there if it wasn't anyway.
There's a weight limit up there. They haven't told me what it is, and I'm a wee bit nervous over it.
Michael Barr would do it.
Michael Barr's got balls of steel. I don't.
Dangle off the edge. Just
throw some. Tell you what, the one thing about Michael, he goes up in the gantry and drops all the little parachutes, the little Warrior apparel parachutes. It reminded me of our good friend from days gone by, Wayne Hardman, when he used to talk about them fighting over pizzas and all the things. The grown ass men fighting over to beat children. I don't know what the prizes are, but they must be good. They must be good.
Warrior give the prizes out. There's there's neck cushions. There's what do you call them? We fanny pack. There's yes, bum bag. What I say?
Fanny pack.
Same thing. And then there's hats and stuff. So whatever Warrior send over for is the Warrior apparel drop, which is it's always good to take. But you're absolutely right, Dave. I mean, there's guys there 6 foot tall and they're reaching over the top of kids. You're bouncing up and down on the seats. Like it's quite funny.
We used to have, like I said, have it for pizza. Everybody loves a freebie. Everybody loves a freebie. But that's it. Yeah. Right, gentlemen. I say safe trip, Simon, Davy. See you next week. Big thanks to everybody for tuning in and wherever you are this weekend. We hope you enjoy your hockey. We'll catch you here next time. One of you from the bridge.